I used to be super scared to talk to pretty girls, but over the last 3 summers, I've been in Sweden talking to the prettiest girls on the planet. See, the thing is, it wasn't always like this for me. When I was younger, I used to get racing thoughts, my heart would start beating crazy fast, I would get bad pit feeling in my stomach with anxiety, my armpits would sweat, and I'd get clammy hands at even just the thought of talking to a pretty girl. So how did I get to the point where I've been talking to the most beautiful girls on the planet? I can do cold approaches without any anxiety. And when I see a pretty girl that I want to talk to, I just go and do it. And I'm just excited about it and it's a great time. So let me take you on my journey, starting off being a shy introvert, going to a confident extrovert. So it all starts when I first moved to Florida at 19 years old. I had no friends. I really wasn't that good in terms of social settings. So I knew I had to make a change, otherwise I wouldn't have any friends. So I first went to a mall to do cold approaches specifically. And the first one I did, I walked up to these two girls, had a terrible approach, just kind of went over and was like, hey, what's up? And they just kept walking. I wasn't even within a close enough proximity for them to really know I was talking to them. And at the time, I was just so disappointed and so heartbroken from that experience that I went to the bathroom, called my friend, and ended up leaving and didn't do another cold approach or talk to anybody for a couple of months' time. So that's the worst thing you can do, is let something like that affect you. At that point, that rejection really messed me up. So after another couple months of not being able to take my situation anymore, I went to an 18 plus club. This club I was so nervous to go to. I literally threw up before I went out. This is the person that I was when I was younger. I was that socially awkward and scared and anxious and everything. But the thing is, when I got there, it was more about just getting into the flow of it. And I started talking to a guy. Before you knew it, I had a lot of girls talking to me without even having to try. And that broke down a lot of beliefs for me that I currently was harboring at the time. So I realized that pretty girls are actually really friendly. They are open to talk to you. And it allowed me to start this journey. And I actually ended up dating one of those girls that I met there at that club for about 3 months. And it was a great experience overall, and it really helped boost me in my journey. And after that, I started doing so many cold approaches after we broke up. So I was in Sweden doing plenty of them at the bars and clubs. In Sweden, I've talked to so many girls. They're all so nice, such great girls, and they're so much more friendly than you'd ever imagine. The prettiest girls on the planet, I'm talking drop dead gorgeous Instagram models that you'd see on your feed, are the nicest people ever. I've talked to so many of them, even dated some of them. So beyond that, I've done actual cold approaches at the beach where it was awkward. And the thing is, I would still get anxiety, but the thing is, if you do the thing that you're nervous to do and you do it anyway, that's courageousness. So you are being very courageous in doing this, and soon you just will become that person. That was the biggest thing I learned. So when I was in Florida, I was doing cold approaches on the beach. I would go to the beach to do my thing, get a tan, but if I saw pretty girls, I always talked to them. That was a rule for this time period of my life when I was building my confidence, getting socially, really expanding my social circle, trying to meet people, trying to meet girls. And every single pretty girl at the beach I would talk to, and there was always limiting beliefs around it. There was things that would come into my mind like, oh, she's face down on the towel, it's awkward. Or, oh, there's 2 or 3 of them, I can't approach them. Or, oh, she's far away, it'll be weird. So many things come into your mind that are not true in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. So that's the thing, is self-limiting beliefs are gonna be your biggest enemy when it comes to doing this. And the thing is, I would do it anyway, even if I felt anxious. And although I didn't have many girls that I slept with or dated from the beach, there was only like one, if I'm being honest. The experience itself of pushing my comfort zone, going out there and talking to girls when I had so many self-limiting beliefs around it, did so much for me. So it just made it easy when I was at a bar or club and I look at a girl and she looks at me to go and talk to her. It's not even a challenge at that point. If I see a girl in the street who I like, or at the grocery store, or at the gym, it's just like the easiest thing. Because for me, approaching on the beach was a little bit harder than all these other circumstances. So I threw myself into the deep end, doing what I felt was the hardest to do. And that really allowed me to just build that unbreakable confidence, approach girls no matter where I am. And because of it, over the last 3 years of breaking out of my shell since 19 years old, I've had so many great experiences with girls. That, on top of just working to become a high value man in every single regard, working on improving my confidence, my looks, my status, my money, everything across the board has been an absolute journey that has just been it's priceless. It's the best thing I've ever done, but it all started with building that confidence, going out and doing those things that I was scared to do. So the entirety of this is that you can't be scared to talk to pretty girls because they really don't care. And if it goes bad, like it went for me on that first cold approach, those girls aren't thinking about it for more than 5 seconds. They moved on, they're back in their conversation, they forgot you even exist. So the only person whose mind that this lives on in is your own. So the best thing you can do is, if you have a bad experience, if you're new to this and you don't know exactly what to do, is just go out there and try and purposely mess up. I'll sometimes do this with girls, with sales calls, with anything that I do. It's like, oh, go out there and mess it up because it takes the pressure off. Now you don't have pressure. You're like, oh, if I fuck it up, well, that's the goal. I'm out here to fuck up completely. Let's just mess up as bad as possible, because after you've messed up, you realize that there was nothing to lose in the first place. And then anything you do after that, it's very much pressure free to just be yourself. So don't put too much pressure on yourself that you need to succeed with every cold approach. Do you know how many times I still get rejected to this day? They're a lot less because of the way I've formulated my approach and the way I just act and my mannerisms. I don't get too many like hard rejections, but I get told all the time, oh, I have a boyfriend, or this or that, and it doesn't go the way you want it to go, right? The way you picture it in your mind. And that's completely fine, because after these years of doing this, you build a tolerance, you get resistance training to rejections. And this is something that is extremely valuable for you as a man, is getting used to rejection, because life is full of rejections. Whether you're in sales, talking to girls, doing anything, you're constantly gonna face rejection. And if you can't deal with that, that's gonna majorly set you back. So even if you didn't want to get girls, you should do this because it's extremely valuable for your character development. And I promise you, you're going to get everything that you want out of life if you do it. It's one of those things that every man should go through, is a phase of going out there, talking to girls, getting rejected, improving themselves, building their confidence, building themselves up as a man. And if you do this, your life is going to be unimaginable in 6 months, a year, 2, 3 years from now. You're going to have so many things that you could have only imagined. You couldn't even have imagined when you were your younger self like me. If you told me when I was 19 that over the next 3 years I would have talked to hundreds of pretty Swedish girls, slept with so many of them, had all these wonderful experiences, gone on dates, done all these things, I would have been like, no way, man, that's awesome. So the big message of this story is you need to get out of your comfort zone. You need to break down those self-limiting beliefs, and you need to do those things that are fearful. You need to be courageous in those situations and go for it anyway, realizing that you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. This is coming from someone, like you heard earlier on, who was the shyest, most introverted, awkward guy ever, who threw up before going out to a club. I mean, imagine that. That's the starting point. And now I'm this confident, outgoing guy, having talked to hundreds of girls, tons of great experiences, dated so many of them, and my life has just completely changed, all because I took action, all because I did exactly what I knew I needed to do in the face of adversity. So that is all for this video. If this provided you with any value, go ahead and give this channel a subscribe. On here, I'm gonna be teaching you how to life max, get better in every single metric across the board, so you can get everything that you want out of life. All right, that's all for this video. I hope you have a great day, and comment down below if you're gonna go out and start doing some cold approaches.